ComicSuite is
all three of these things work together in harmony.
They all use basically the same database, but how each platform accesses that database can cause things to go weird, and ComicSuite is the one where it went real weird this week.
This goes out to the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all. What? Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. What? Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast with Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
Well, Dal, it is the Christmas season.
It is.
And everyone is in a happier, brighter mood. Even Maurice, our window cleaner, today was in such a happy mood. He said, "I'm in such a happy mood." He said, "I'm in such a happy mood."
Oh, that's nice.
I don't even know why. And I thought, yeah, why are you? Because you always tell us how miserable your life is. But anyway. I thought I would start this podcast off with stories of people who were in for the holiday season.
In Challengers?
In Challengers today.
I don't know if you meant in this podcast, because that'd be weird.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And that opening has nothing to do with these stories. These are just my favorite story.
I thought they'd still be the airing of grievances that we usually get with stories
this
on Fridays.
This isn't a grievance thing. This is my favorite story from today, and it's not my story. I wasn't even present for it. I was in the back digging out. I was trying to find something from Blue. I was trying to find. And while I was in the back hallway, what seemed to be a mom, a dad, and an adult child were in.
Okay.
And while the child was looking, the dad was looking at our shelf of accoutrement above the counter.
Sure, our various awards and accolades.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Random figurines of people who have attended the store at some point.
Came across the Tim Seeley made Captain Challenger figure, which was modified from a Toy Biz 12-inch Captain America.
Sure. And
he said, "Oh, look at that. That's an old modified Tick action figure." And Gina says, "Actually, it's a modified Captain America. It's Captain Challenger." And the father says, "I know the Tick when I see the Tick, okay?"
This is why you don't correct people in the store.
And the son said,
"Let him have it.
Dad, that is 100% Captain America." Like, so indignant immediately. Yeah.
"Madam, how dare you?"
There was another guy who came in right at like 5:02 because I hadn't locked the door. I was distracted. And he looked around, and before I could even say, "Hey, we're closing up," he gets to the front. He's like, "All right, thanks very much." And he wasn't buying anything. And I go, "Hey, thanks for coming in. Happy holidays. You need to hit that push lever to get the door to open." Because after he came in, I locked the door.
Sure.
So then he gets distracted, looks at something else, goes to get out, pushes the door. He's like, "I can't get out." I'm like, "You need to hit that lever."
It says push.
And he's like, "Which one?" "Which one?"
Yep, the lever it says push on.
Like the one that
literally the only lever on the door.
The one that says push.
Yeah.
I tried to circumvent that by telling it to you ahead of time.
Yep. That was,
but it didn't.
Wasted effort. Like I was telling you earlier this week, I could put a little sign on the front of the register to explain a process. No one will ever see it. It would only be something you point out after they've already gotten wrong to go, "Hey, we left this note here that you didn't look at."
I understand people don't necessarily remember our process because, especially now during a global pandemic, everybody has a different credit card procedure.
True.
But we've transitioned to a system where we try not to touch your card.
Yeah.
And it's one that we'll keep using.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah, it's just easier.
Just easier.
I'm trying to get more people to use the tap function.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the majority of the people that I say, "Oh, you can just tap it," they don't know what that means.
Right.
They don't know that their card has that type of technological functionality, so they don't know how to do it. And whenever they put their card too low, I'm like, "Oh, bring it up more, closer to me."
Right in the icon.
So what they do is they raise it higher in the air.
Oh, golly. Yeah, in general, I don't prompt people for that because it, like you're saying, it just introduces too much confusion into the process.
But hopefully for that's the only time. And moving forward, they'll know, "Oh, I can do this."
I'm okay with them doing either one because it's, while the tapping is a little faster, it's not like the inserting the chip takes a long time.
True.
And in general, like, yeah, just the friction of that
It's
is
just
something where I don't want to do it.
What I don't like about inserting the chip is that I always make a point of holding the back of it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it'll slide.
Yeah.
But oftentimes, like, I need to bag their books. Like, I need both my hands to do something.
That's true.
And there'll be times where I'm holding the back and they go to hold the back as well. It's like, don't touch my hand.
The only problem I've really had is with them interacting with the terminal is that frequently you'll have people who won't see you holding it or think it's still too sliding around that they need to also be bracing it. So they squeeze the front of it while they're putting their card in, and it's like, oh, on the left side is where the power button is. So if you're squeezing that, you are probably going to turn the screen off.
That is literally what I was about to say when you rudely cut me off.
Sorry. Thought I was contributing to your story as though we were both hosting a podcast on the business industry of comic books.
Is it an industry now?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Business industry.
What is your business industry? What is your industry? Yeah. Business.
It's the business industry of comics.
Yeah, so that's also another drawback.
Yeah.
And then the people that wait to go, or how many times have you had somebody pull the, like, oh, you're all set, and then they go, because the screen goes back to 0.
Right.
So they go to type in their PIN. Yeah,
yep.
Like, don't
Constantly.
do that. Don't do that.
Oh, no, you're good.
Also, you're letting me see your PIN.
Yeah.
Because it's just putting it up on the screen. It's not the asterisk.
Yep.
But what I was going to get to before was that we've got somebody who comes in multiple times a week, and each time tries to hand you the card under the glass.
He does. Or he leaves it on the counter. And
yeah,
it's like,
today they put it down real close to me. It's like, you're going to need to pick that right back up.
Yep. Just and
it's just like, it's every day.
Yeah.
So just the thing that I said about, I only have to explain the tap function once.
Nope.
That would not be the case.
Nope.
That would not be the case.
No.
But yeah, I get it. Every store does something differently. It's fine. And honestly, I forget all the time that I could just use the tap function, or I could just use Apple Pay on my phone.
Sure, I don't use the tap all the time, even though, like, there's pretty much every place I'm using the chip card inserted probably has a tap function on it.
Yeah.
But I don't. Like, at Subway, I use the tap all the time now. But like McDonald's, I think I just insert it.
Why didn't you just use your watch?
Oh, because I used my PayPal card, and that's not tied to my Apple Watch.
Oh, okay. That is a good answer.
Use my PayPal card for food.
That is a good, hearty, winter, healthy answer.
Same thing with my Apple card. I don't use that as like phone. I don't use phone payment a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I will occasionally, if I'm buying something on my phone, like ordering it through a website or an app or something, I might use like Apple Payment.
Sure.
But I don't think I've ever used Apple Payment at like a storefront when I've got my credit cards on me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would just use a credit card.
I'll tell you, one time...
We give people options. We let them do what they want. They can pay however they want.
One time I stopped to get gas when I was out in the suburbs on a Sunday and realized I forgot my wallet.
Yeah. Luckily, you weren't driving. Oh, wait.
Luckily, I could use my phone.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, this is so great. I'm not in trouble.
And honestly, it's most of the people that we have who use their Apple Watch or their Apple or their iPhone or any sort of contactless payment. I'd say the majority of them are people who are like, oh, I can't find my wallet or I left it in the car. Do you guys take Apple Pay or Google Pay or whatever? And so, yeah, sure. Some people use it as their primary method of payment. But I'd say most of the people that we have are using it because something else happened.
But I mean,
and they have to fall back on it.
We'll take it.
It's probably just not good for the idea of, like, people getting rid of credit cards. Like, that does not seem to be the case.
I mean, we're still surprised by how much cash people use.
It's true. Not a lot, but, I mean, still more than zero.
We had a guy use 100 today.
A hundo.
Because he needed exact change for the bus or the train.
Oh. Huh.
Weird, right?
I mean, suspicious.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a legit 100.
Sure. But that always makes me a little suspicious.
And also, like,
I need to use a very large bill to pay for this very small purchase.
You know, it was a large purchase.
I mean, anything less than, like, $90, I'd be like, I don't know, man.
Which, either way, it's like, either he got cash out of us or product out of us. So.
Sure. But I never understand this. Where are people getting these hundreds?
Yeah. That's a good point.
I don't know where people are getting $100 bills that regularly. Mostly because so many places are like, we will not take anything over a 20.
Yeah.
Like, where are you using this at? Other than a comic shop, which, thank you.
Yeah, we got a bunch of hundos this week.
'Tis the season. I guess, as of today, I started watching Christmas stuff because I watched this week's Bob's Burgers episode finally.
Uh-huh.
Which was a Christmas-themed episode, pretty much.
Yeah, but you didn't watch it because it was Christmas-themed.
True, but now that I've started watching it, I'll probably be watching more Christmas stuff over the next few days.
In as short of an answer as possible, are there any or many Kamen Rider Christmas specials or Christmas episodes?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Will you rewatch some of those?
Not really.
Because it's out of context of the...
Here's the slightly longer but not long answer that I'm going to
Okay.
give you very quickly. The thing is, most Kamen Rider shows run for like 52 weeks. So inevitably they have episodes that air on and around Christmas.
Sure.
So they do Christmassy themed stuff for those, but it's usually like within the context of a much larger story. So it would be like just watching, like if you had a 50 chapter book and you're just like, oh, chapter 18 is the Christmas chapter. You could read that, but it's not going to make a lot of sense. So no, I don't usually go out of my way to rewatch Christmas episodes of Kamen Rider.
Fair enough. A couple months ago, we got in a weird little hardcover collection of 1966 Marvel comics. They came in a slipcase. There was a Captain America, a Spider-Man, a Hulk, a Sergeant Fury, and a Minnie the Model.
Were these the ones that were in like vending machines?
And these were ones that were in gumball machines in the 1960s.
Yeah, absolutely tiny little books that would come in those little, what you'd now call like a gashapon capsule.
Yeah.
Just those little plastic bubbles that might normally have like a keychain or like a little plastic figurine.
So this set came with all of them on a book, or in a little hardcover books, and an extra book by Mark Evanier that explained the history of these things. Mm-hmm. And we ordered a couple because I'm like, I'll probably get that. That sounds neat.
Sure.
So I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, I haven't opened it because it's shrink wrapped. It's all, in its slipcase.
Right.
So you can't see it.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what are these things actually like? So I started looking them up.
Uh-huh.
And then I started looking at them on eBay.
Uh-huh.
And some of them go for stupid money.
That's why they got reproduced at a much larger size.
In a much larger size. Because I did find cheap enough ones. So I picked up a Captain America one.
Uh-huh.
And it came today.
Uh-huh.
And it is
Yeah,
this
they're microscopic.
little tiny baby.
Like,
it is the size of a postage stamp.
yeah, it needed to be something that was, again, small enough to fit in these little capsules that you would have in a vending machine, which means it basically...
But I mean, like...
the capsule itself was the size of, like, a gumball.
Wait, when you think of a gachapon capsule,
Yeah, these
that's
are not...
way too big.
Yeah,
You got to
those
think
are the
of
modern ones.
You got to think of like the dime size ones.
Yes, like a plastic ball that's basically the same diameter as like a quarter, basically. So this has to be small to fit inside a quarter, which is how small it is.
It's literally the size of a postage stamp, like the size of your thumbnail.
I'd say it's smaller than an actual postage stamp now.
Okay. Definitely the ones that I got at the post office that had the double, the QR code and
the ones that were printed out.
Uh-huh. I forgot what I was going to say about this. It was packaged as if it was another drug package. It was a package and a package and a package.
Sure.
And Gina thought it was hilarious. Like, it keeps going. Is there more? So here's the best part about this. So it's super tiny. I'm like, well, I want to see what it's like. And as I open it up, I immediately tear the cover off.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness, it is like 50 years old.
Yeah. So this is now... I put it in this little bag. That's where it's going to stay forever.
What's nice is that it seems like it's 1/12 scale. So Captain America can have a tiny Captain America book that's probably like an actual size book for him. Or maybe you'd give that to the Winter Soldier.
For right now, I'm just going to put this over here. I'll leave it. It came there. That's why it was there.
Okay.
I just thought I'd bring it up. And now it's like, well, definitely can't read that one.
No.
Do I want to buy that set? I don't know.
Hello, what have we here?
There's no segue. We're just jumping into the next thing.
Okay.
I mentioned last week that we don't get a lot of feedback about this, but it was in regards to the Tony Fleek's past mothball package.
Oh, sure.
And I did reference it. There's some people that comment all the time One of those people is a patron of ours and a regular website orderer, Ian 007. And we got this lovely message today.
Neat.
I just want to say that I look forward to listening to you guys every week.
Aw.
Almost as much as I looked forward to going to, quote, the movies every week pre-pandemic, except for the fact that you guys never disappoint. I don't believe that.
Yeah, oof. High praise and also inaccurate. But go on.
Unrelated, I also have to plug Erratic #1 by Kari Andrews from AWA Comics.
Patrick, you like that book.
I did. The cover was the first cover that has really grabbed me in quite some time. Dow was talking a couple of podcasts ago about how comic covers should highlight the characters and often don't. This cover is dynamic. Andrews wrote this as well? I don't get excited about debut superhero books anymore, but this one I liked a bunch. Very natural dialogue and interesting concept. I'm really surprised when artists can also write. As you guys know, it's pretty rare. How did I not know about this guy? Shout out to all the wonderful humans that create things. Season's greetings, Merry Christmas, and a much, much happier New Year. Thanks, Ian.
Thanks, Ian. Yeah, Carrie Andrews is a guy that is...
Carrie Andrews.
Carrie Andrews is a guy who's largely under the radar, and it's sort of weird because he does have quite a few projects. Before Erratic, he was doing the Renato Jones book at Image.
Which Ian just purchased today.
Yeah, and then I think right before that, or maybe concurrent with that, he was doing Immortal Iron Fists as a digital graphic novel that eventually came to print. And before that was, I think, just a regular Iron Fist book. And before that, I mean, Spider-Man Reign was his big thing, but that was way earlier. And that's probably the reason why he's at AWA, is because that was a Marvel Knights book, which means at that time that was an Axel Alonso book.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people who are currently doing books at AWA are people who are like Axel guys from back in the Marvel Knights days.
Yep.
But yeah, it's he's a creator that's written and drawn his own stuff for a while now, and yeah, for whatever reason, clearly there's a group of fans that either never read his stuff when they were reading comics or are new enough to comics that they missed out on his work. So Erratic is a pretty good introduction to what he does. It's definitely a lot lighter in tone, maybe. I mean, Renato Jones is a book that was pretty satirical, but also incredibly violent.
Yeah.
So, you know.
I can't think of a good way to bring up holiday shipping, which we talked a lot about last week. But the main point is all of the presents that I'm still waiting for, I'm still waiting for. Nothing has changed since last week.
Yeah, I think something of yours, showed up today, but I got to open that box to find out for sure, because it's something where it's like, that I don't know who that is.
You know, it's funny because early in the morning, you got an Amy box. Mm-hmm. And
Ami.
See, that's what I said, and you told me, oh no, it's two people named Amy.
That was a joke. I didn't realize that sounded even vaguely believable.
I mean, how would I not? I don't know this company.
That's true.
I used to call them Ami all the time, and you said, that was literally this week, you're like, no, it's Amy and Amy. It's two people named Amy who started a website selling Japanese toys.
I didn't realize I was even pranking you, and I pranked you. That's pretty great. Goodness gracious, I'm so glad that was while we were recording. No one would believe me. Yeah, no, the Ami thing was a pre-order.
Well, my point is, and then at the end of the day, you get an Ami
right,
box.
And so I saw two Ami boxes, and I'm like,
but I figured the second one was,
how is this? I mean,
because it was repurposed box,
right? And but I think it's kind of amazing that somebody I bought something from. I think it's eBay probably for a present for you. Used the exact same size Ami box, as I got, which is amazing.
I believe it's pronounced Ame.
I'm pretty sure I know what's in there based on the stuff I've ordered for you and what hasn't shown up yet, and what would need a box that big to transport it. So I got to open it to make sure, but I'm 99% sure that's something for you.
There is a meme going around of
just the one
Drake. I didn't see it. You described it to me,
okay.
So I'll get it wrong. Hugging someone, and he's saying, stop checking the tracking. That package is in God's hands now. And that is the epitome of 2020. Golly. And in fact, it was Dow Bush who sent me a message today via the computer machine.
The G-Chat.
Which
I don't think they call it that anymore.
They don't, but that's what we call
G-Chat.
it. That's fine.
AIM.
Yeah, it's Instant Messenger. That was basically, our exact experience, but from the standpoint of a different company, the company that you had ordered something from, sent you the, hey, we've noticed that these these packages are languishing. When you put package and languishing, you get languishing. Yeah. Languishing at the post office, and things are going to be late. Sorry.
Yeah, because that's, almost daily we've had to respond to customers, again, either people who've done like Shopify stuff or people who bought from eBay, basically saying, I don't understand why my package isn't here yet, and I don't understand why the tracking shows you haven't shipped it. And it's like, well, we gave it to a mail carrier.
Or dropped it off at the post office.
They've got it. They just haven't scanned it. And that's the tricky thing for this year, is it's not just that, stuff is taking longer, which it absolutely is. There's stuff where it's like, a 3-day priority mail shipment is transport is taking 7 to 10 days. But the problem is there's also this buffer of 3 to 5 days before it actually starts to move, before they even scan it.
Yeah.
Which is adding on a ton of time. I got that email from somebody I'd bought from today that was a bulk email sent to literally all of their clients saying, we are shipping stuff out as fast as the orders are getting placed. The tracking is not reflecting that. There's nothing we can do about it. USPS is prioritizing moving the package more than they are scanning the package. So all of the normal checks and balances that'll show you exactly where it is in the system, they're skipping those to get the goddamn thing on a truck faster. So it'll get scanned at the next point, and then everything will start to make sense. But as a result, there's a lot of I don't know when I'm going to get this. I don't know where it is. I don't understand why it's not here yet. You gave me an estimated date of this point, and we're 5 days past that, and I still don't have it. And again, there's the usual frustration of, it's Christmas. I ordered this for people. My mom texted today about did you get this envelope? I haven't yet. I'm sure it'll get here soon. I don't know when. It will get here. If it doesn't get here by Christmas, it'll still get here afterwards. And that's fine.
It's just annoying that there's some things that I ordered for you well before your birthday.
Sure.
That I haven't gotten yet.
Yeah,
I think this is going to be a very disappointing Christmas for a lot of people. That it would just be,
unfortunately,
you'll get this someday.
That's 2020.
Yeah.
I usually have a specific span of a couple weeks in which I do all my shopping that needs to be shipped, and I've never had a problem. And this is the year where it's I don't know, probably a couple things are going to come in late.
Yeah.
Did everything I could. Things got away. I don't know.
We had a club member in today who's it's finally 2020 for me. Oh yeah? What does that mean? Yeah, I got let go this week.
Oh gosh.
Oh, that's what you mean.
What is with people starting bad news with this chummy delivery? I don't like it. I do not appreciate
it. Understood. Dal, do you want to talk about this week's ComicSuite issues?
Oof. If I can remember them all.
Or do you want to start talking about the new comics that have been announced?
Oh, let's do ComicSuite real fast, because I think I can make it quick.
Sure.
We had just a daily installment of problems with ComicSuite, which is our comic subscription management platform that we use in store, not to be confused with Pullbox, which is the consumer-facing website that customers use to manage their subscriptions.
Or RMH, which is what we use to ring people up.
That's just a register. ComicSuite is
all three of these things work together in harmony.
They all use basically the same database, but how each platform accesses that database can cause things to go weird. And ComicSuite is the one where it went real weird this week. I don't remember everything, so you might have to remind me of some of these.
Sure.
One of them was the DC stuff.
Well, we've been waiting for a little bit to have this the thing that was put in that, man, I don't remember what anything is called.
The sell-through data?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't think that was that broke something, but it didn't make anything huge. Basically, what?
I just assumed that was you were right about how you thought it affected.
No. So working backwards, today was on Wednesday. All of a sudden, ComicSuite.
Wait, let me back up.
Okay.
So it's just me.
As the Earth cooled. Let me go all the way back to Adams. Anyway,
Adam and Steve.
So today was spent on my day off the morning of remoting into the system while a Diamond technician remoted into the system as well to solve a problem where basically ComicSuite was locking up.
Which is amazing to me because
the future, man.
I got that email like from the rep saying, "Hey, when can I fix this?" And I responded back, "Hey man, I'll be there at 11. Anytime after that."
I didn't see that one.
And
I just responded to the ticket.
I'm real sorry that you have to deal with me today and not Dow.
Uh-huh.
And then, as I get to the store, I turn on the computer. I'm like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, I got up late because I didn't have to get up early because basically, not to skip ahead, ComicSuite was broken and we couldn't send out the pre-received emails, which is why we normally get up early on my day off.
Which I feel is not a good enough reason to get up early.
Yeah, I mean, early just means before 11. It's not the end of the world.
But if you could sleep until 11, you should sleep until 11.
Physically, I can't, though. I mean, not anymore. Like, by this point, I'm not young enough to sleep.
Remember
that
when you
late?
used to sleep for 16 hours unless somebody woke you up?
That's so good. But anyway, so the problem we were having was that ComicSuite was locking up at basically every step in every process, which is a problem when you have something like receiving a reorder, like I had to do Wednesday night, that has 4 or 5 discrete processes in it. And at the end of each one, you'd have to completely reboot the computer because you could not restart ComicSuite after you closed it forcefully. So basically, that was the thing that was going on Wednesday. And then Kent doesn't really use ComicSuite that I know of on Thursday, so he didn't mention anything about problems. And it was still open when I logged in remotely to the system.
But, I mean, you saw a note from me, so you knew that I had been in it earlier.
But ComicSuite was physically open when I logged into the system Thursday night to do just a little bit of minor work before I did the email Friday morning. And it kept locking up as I was trying to post special orders. And I spent 20 minutes trying to restart it and constantly rebooting Windows, and nothing was helping and nothing was working. So I left a help ticket with Diamond that said, "Hey, this is the problem. This is what we're seeing. Like, we literally cannot use ComicSuite right now, so we need this resolved." And then they had, I guess, early Friday morning had posted a response to the ticket saying that, when can they get into the system? And as you said, you had emailed them, but I didn't know you had emailed them. So I just said, I mean, I can, this was at 10:35 in the morning. I'm like, I can go on remotely right now and let you in, or Patrick can do it after 11. Call me at my cell phone if you want me to remote in. And then Chris called me on my cell 10 minutes later to say, okay, let's do it. So I logged into the system and stepped him through what we were seeing. It turns out what was happening was SQL Server, which is basically what the database is, was having some weird errors in it that was causing every time ComicSuite would ping the server to have something happen, the response time would be massive to the point where the system would just kind of not resolve anymore. I asked him, so I rebooted the system a bunch of times. Shouldn't that have reset it? And he's like, it should. I don't know why it didn't. So I was like, okay, well, that's great. So that fixed the basic problems. And they also installed a new...
I'm so glad that they know what they're doing.
For sure. But they also installed a new update, and they said some of what's happening that we're seeing with a lot of the problems that I've frankly already forgotten about, and you'll need to remind me of, is that we are working off of kind of pre-release software, where as a huge error happens, they patch it. But they don't send that patch out to everyone because they haven't tested that patch yet, so they don't know what else it's going to break. But if you're a person who had that error break your system already, you might as well take the patch because it can't get worse than already broken.
Right. The
problem is once they fix that one error and your system's working again, you start to find out, oh, here's the other thing it broke. So it turns out that you found out that one of the things...
I found it!
It broke today was that...
if you post more than one subscription, it doesn't crash, but it sends an error message, and while it will add those titles to someone's list, it doesn't post any of the issues.
Right. But if you do one title at a time on a subscription posting, it's fine. So you took a screenshot of the error message, and I passed it along to the technical team, and they will... I said, we have a workaround for it, so it doesn't need to get fixed immediately, but... if this is something that's going to be in the next patch, this is something that needs to be addressed because it's going to break other things. We just wanted you to know. But beyond that, we've been dealing with, constant problems with different aspects of ComicSuite.
Special orders, not special ordering.
Yeah, we're not going to the right fields. Emails not getting sent out. stuff like that. So it's been a really continuous process of nearly daily having to talk to someone at Diamond to say, hey, this is not going great and we need it fixed. Big shout out to Chris at Diamond from the ComicSuite technical support team for being incredibly patient, being very on the ball as far as like assessing the problems we're having and then addressing them.
And what is the lineup? They have 1 programmer and 3 tech support people?
I don't know how many exact tech support people they have. I've mostly dealt with this the past few months. It's been Chris and Danny.
There used to be John.
Yeah, John for sure. And then I know there's some other people that are in the mix. I don't know. With a lot of the things that have been going on with COVID, I don't know who is still part of the teams and not.
Also, they're tech, so they're working remotely?
Yes.
So he was remoting in from his home system, probably?
Yes.
Oh, I bet his home system is way better than his work system.
I don't know, maybe.
I would assume most of them, most
Yeah.
tech people have a better computer at home.
Yeah, a workstation at like a comic distributor is probably not going to be as good as somebody who knows what they're doing with computers and has a PC at home. But anyway, the good news is I think things are sort of okay right now.
Yeah, it's sort of okay right now. They're like what that is passable, like C average.
Sure.
It was at C plus, but I took it back.
Okay, that's fair.
Do we think that even though these are not necessarily DC related, like a lot of these problems are coming as a result of all the DC patching they have to do?
Yeah, for sure. There's one error in particular that we had that I was told it could be fixed, but fixing it would break something in the register.
Yeah, we'd rather the register work.
Right.
Like when of all the things I had to do today, like send out some subscriber invoices, pack up some web orders.
Yeah.
I could do all that without ComicSuite.
Right.
The list of club ads, has to wait.
Right.
Fine. But obviously that was done early enough.
Yeah, so it worked out okay. But I would say the majority of the errors that we're seeing are because the system had to start to accommodate alternate vendor subscription information in a way that it was literally never designed to.
Yeah.
Like you could always do alternate vendor things in like RMS and RMH, but ComicSuite was specifically designed to handle subscriptions coming through Diamond. So suddenly having to do something where it's like, okay, but what about if the vendor isn't Diamond? It's like, well, that's not great. And that having to do that in the midst of a pandemic where people are not working in one place and when your staffing is also probably reduced.
It's one thing when it's
everything
like,
in 2020.
hey, everyone,
thanks DC.
Here's our goal for our next big project. Let's work on it when we can, push it out when we're ready, as opposed to, oh man, we needed this yesterday.
Exactly.
Fix it.
Yeah, we were told a few times that there was a roadmap for what they wanted ComicSuite to do in 2020, and that all had to get pushed back because of DC.
Yeah,
because the DC stuff it needed to work right now, because DC books were still coming out. And even then, it took them months. It was months before they finally had a solution for things like DC initial orders and receiving DC books. And even then, like, it's not working 100% right.
Things are still bad in that regard. I was trying to do FOCs today, and there's books that just don't have information.
Yeah.
Just any sales information.
Yeah. I should mention there's something in the current catalog as you get to it. There's a few line items that when I was going into special orders just don't appear in the catalog anymore.
Yeah.
Like a few future state books that only have like a cardstock and not a regular, or no cardstock when they have a regular. So that may be a thing that when you're entering those numbers into Lunar, double check each line to make sure you're actually ordering all the books you want to order.
Yeah, I mean Lunar always has all the stuff tacked on at the very end.
Sure.
So the annoying part is that it's not retroactively placed back to its title companion. If it is an Aquaman variant cover, it's just at the end of the list. At the very end of the month, new books. Then it's like, oh, like they did that with the Wonder Woman 84 covers.
Oh.
Like you're done with you did the single issues, you did the trades, you're all done. Oh wait, no, what's all this down here? Mm-hmm. Here's all the variant covers we just got added.
Sure.
Don't forget those. With the 2 holiday months, November and December, I'm not sure when I could start doing the orders. And that's why I logged in last night, because it turns out in November I could have done them, because everything's pushed back from Thursday to Sunday kind of thing.
Yeah.
But when I was looking through the new catalog, that's the word I couldn't think of. When I was looking through the new catalog, last night, it looked like a lot of books didn't have special orders attached to them.
The December catalog closes on Pullbox on December 20th.
Man.
I mean,
I hate that.
that's only Sunday.
Right, but then I have a week to do the orders, and that is a holiday week.
I know. I'm sorry.
That is... Christmas is in there.
It's true. And Christmas Eve. And Boxing Day.
Yeah, that's... I hate that system.
Sorry?
I know. I mean,
Maybe the
I said
alternative
it,
is we stop using Pullbox.
right. I said it last month, but I didn't know that was one of the drawbacks of doing it, was that these things aren't updated in real time.
Sure.
So it does me no good to order.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I could do merchandise, because if anybody special orders anything,
Right.
it gets tacked on.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I'm under ordering or whatever,
Right.
but still. Boy,
Sorry.
especially in a Christmas week, a holiday
Sorry,
week.
bud. I mean, I think you've got, from when the catalog closes, I think you've got 10 or 11 days. No.
No, I have a week.
I mean, I think you have until, I think, the
28th.
Is it the 20? No, I thought it was longer than that. I thought it was like the middle of...
The orders are due the Sunday after Christmas.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez. I thought it was later than that.
Unless they moved it. That's what the calendar at the store says. Calendar was printed a while ago.
Yeah, everything's changed.
I also don't like that. Like, we use the Diamond catalog, the Diamond calendar that they give us as the main store calendar, but they only give it to us the last week of the year. So it's hard to plan ahead or write things down or be ready for things.
Yeah, December 20th orders due by Monday, 12/28/2020.
Yeah.
4:59 a.m. Eastern Time. Yeah.
So 4 a.m. that Monday, the 29th, 28th?
No, 4 a.m. is too late. 3:59 a.m.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Sorry.
Why don't they just say GMT time? Just what's the GMT time?
Because ET's in Timonium. That's why they picked that time.
I see. But why? I mean, why 5 o'clock? That's a weird time.
Why 4:59 a.m.?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question.
So yeah, real tight deadline this time.
Yeah, sorry.
Luckily, I'm not going to do any initial orders for anybody we do FLCs for. That's your job.
That's fine.
That's not how I do it.
I only miss them 2% of the time, so that's fine.
That's nothing. It's not important.
98%? That's great. That's like a total A.
It is, but you're not happy with that if that's the percentage success rate for a polls list.
That's true. 100% or nothing.
So, nothing.
It's pass-fail. That's it.
I mean, there was a mistake this week, so...
There was,
failed.
and I found it. I mean, only if the mistake...
No.
No?
You're talking about Darth Vader.
What was the other one?
The Tales from the Dark Multiverse that someone just didn't have.
Oh, right. Well, yeah. DC ones are the easiest ones to make a mistake on.
Sure.
Because all of the things that, like... Yeah.
You know what's ridiculous about a lot of this?
Uh-huh.
So, pull back the curtain a little bit. We already have next week's DC books in store, and the week after that.
Yeah.
So we have the December 23rd books already, and December 30th books already.
Yep.
January 6th are on their way.
I figured.
Like, I have that breakdown already.
Crazy.
It's the first Future State week.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also Death Metal 7, I think?
Yes.
Yeah.
To which, quote of the day from Gina, "The Joker is a dragon now? That is so stupid."
He's been a dragon for a while.
I know. But just the cover of...
He's also
that
going to
issue.
be a solo star of a solo book, because that's the world we live in now.
What? What do you mean?
Segway. DC announced their March 2021 books this past week in a slow rollout before their full catalog was dropped today.
And let me just say, almost no one has signed up for any Future State books from us.
It's true. And we emailed everybody
Yeah.
who gets DC stuff, I think.
And we were given those
all of our
Future State
subscribers.
catalogs.
We emailed all of our subscribers at the start of the January order window. So back in November, right?
Yeah.
No, back in October. To say, hey, all of the DC stuff for the first 2 months of 2021 are not going to be your regular subscriptions.
That
If
would
you
have been
want,
November.
we sent it out like end of October.
Okay.
because the catalog was due at the end of November.
Yeah, okay.
So, I mean, people had months of us saying, hey, if you want anything from DC in those 2 months, you're going to have to look at this online catalog and tell us what you want. And most of them didn't. And then, yeah, everybody who got any DC stuff for 1 week got the preview book that DC had put out for Future State, specifically to say, hey, look at this and see if you want anything. And almost no one's gotten back to us about it. Pullbox people have started to add some stuff, which, I mean, again, thank goodness for Pullbox, because those people are great at actually adding books in advance and making sure that they're down for stuff.
Yeah.
But most people, basically all of our non-Pullbox subscribers, could not care less about Future State. Either they don't know about it or they just don't care about it.
But it's also the future of the DC universe, because the majority of those creators are doing those titles.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're pulling a lot of those story elements with them.
Yeah. That was not communicated incredibly well because of how these rollouts happen, because the emphasis was on Future State, and then it's like, oh, by the way, now that you've ordered those, all of these writers who are doing these books are doing those characters in the regular DC continuity starting in March. And I should say regular DC continuity in quotes, because Infinite Frontier is continuity in quotes. But yeah, it's...
Infinite Frontier?
Infinite Frontier is what the new DC branding is going to be, starting in March 2021.
Like Dark Reign?
More like New 52.
Okay.
Or Rebirth.
I've literally forgotten it. Infinite what?
Infinite Frontier.
I'm writing that down. I don't know to what end.
I'm going to look that up just to make sure I'm getting it right, because I'm pretty certain it's Infinite Frontier.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time they used Frontier as a modifier for their story element or a title.
Infinite Frontier is actually the name of it, yes.
Is Frontier built, the word itself, off of the fact that you can have multiple tiers, but this one is in the front?
No, I think it's just because someone at the company is like, DC New Frontier, remember that?
No, I know, but I just meant the word. I didn't mean DC's use of it.
Oh,
I meant the etymology.
Oh, let's find out. I am a budding etymologist.
Entomologist.
I think it's the ant one.
It's entomologist.
I don't think it's right.
Mm.
Etymology is a study of origins of words. Let's go to Frontier now.
What is
origin?
then?
Origin. The Latin is frons, meaning front. Yeah, and the French word frontiere, based on the Latin word for front.
Okay, I'm taking that as I was right for that one.
Probably,
now,
sure.
Now look up entomology.
Yeah, that's the insect one. Yeah, the branch of zoology concerned with the study of insects.
That's branchiology.
Nope.
Don't even ask me what the tree one is called.
Botany.
We've digressed slightly.
Anyway, Infinite Frontier.
Where does digress come from?
The Peter David column from
Put your phone down.
Guide.
Put your phone down.
No, I'm looking up Infinite Frontier. Jesus. I had a tab open for that. It's a lot of details, and I don't remember them all. One of the big ones that was announced today was that Infinite Frontier will be launching with a 0 issue for $6 on March 2nd, 2021.
Isn't their regular standard price going to be $6 because all their books are anthologies now?
Nope, those are $5. Anyway, Infinite Frontier 0 is written by Scott Snyder, Jeff Johns, James Tynan IV, Josh Williamson, Jeffrey Thorne, Philip Kennedy Johnson, Brian Michael Bendis, Becky Cloonan, Michael Conrad, Joel Jones, and Tim Sheridan, with art by all of the people drawing the books those people are writing.
What is Tim Sheridan writing?
It's in here somewhere. I don't remember. I'm sure we'll be going over all of these books in not detail, but we'll be covering all of them. The weirdest thing about DC's Infinite Frontier stuff is how little of it there is.
DC, the Infinite Frontier. These are the comic books of the immediate future.
That's nice.
Thanks.
It started pretty good with a Patrick Stewart, and you kind of lost it, but
I wasn't trying to be Patrick Stewart.
Oh,
I was just trying to convey Star Trek in general.
You hit a little bit of the Patrick Stewart in the beginning. These are that's a very Patrick Stewart.
Harley was dead.
See?
Did William Shatner do the original TOS voiceover?
The opening?
Yeah,
I feel like he did.
Okay.
I was not a TOS kid, so I don't remember that well. But I think the captain
Space
does
the final frontier.
Does that intro when they do it?
There you go. That was the Stewart one.
Anyway, DC has...
Which Infinite Frontier book is Patrick Stewart writing?
He is writing... Well, he's the bald guy, so he's doing Justice League, right?
Oh, right, okay.
Remember the bald guy is writing Justice League.
Has that actually been announced, or he just teased that on Instagram and everybody believed it?
That Brian Michael Bendis is writing Justice League?
And David Marquez is drawing it?
We can talk about it momentarily.
Okay. I'm going to use some foreshadowing and say that's on Dow's list.
Sure. DC, according to the beat here, has 16 ongoing series in their main line in March.
Okay, that's kind of the Dal Bush plan.
Sort of, yeah. 14 of them are getting new creative teams. One of them is the new Batman Urban Legends, an anthology series, and the other is the final issue of Grant Morrison's Green Lantern Season 2. 7 of the non-anthology ongoing series, so like basically half the line, are bumping up to 40 pages with a backup story, which means they're also $5 books now.
Okay.
3 miniseries, Crime Syndicate, Swamp Thing, and then Man-Bat, which is coming back.
Ugh. I mean, it's in the can.
2 new out-of-continuity anthology miniseries, Superman Red and Blue, which is basically Batman Black and White, but
just with the other colors
Superman
highlighted.
and Red and Blue.
Yeah.
Sensational Wonder Woman. There's also the Batman Black and White, which isn't done. The Truth and Justice anthology series, which hasn't started yet, but will be starting by this point. And, unbelievably, the returning Batman vs. Ra's al Ghul miniseries.
What?
Which is coming back like a year later.
Why?
Apparently they had issues they just never published.
Just seeds it.
There's also 9 Black Label series for the month.
Okay.
Plus Looney Tunes and Mad Magazine, 3 original graphic novels, and 18 collections. So yeah, as far as like the basic DC superhero stuff, the core of the line, there's not a lot of it. You're really looking at like 4 or 5 books a week, which seems about what I expected, but still, when you see that number, it's like, oh, DC's not making a lot of books.
Nope.
Which we all knew was going to happen after almost everybody at that company was let go over the last few months. There's just not enough staff to put out even the 2020 amount of books they've been putting out. So 2021 post-Future State was going to be pretty slim, and this is that. It's all starting with Infinite Frontier Zero, which is a look at all of their new books by all of their creative teams. It is a 64-page book, $6 for the regular one, $7 for the cardstock variant. Batman Urban Legends, which is a prestige format miniseries. I don't know what this is. Maybe it's a one-shot? I don't know. Oh, it's a brand new monthly series. It is $8.
I thought it was a miniseries.
Well, so that's what the beat had it as, but I'm in the solicitation, a brand new monthly series. There's nothing in here that says how many they're doing.
The answer is 2.
It's all over the place with what it's doing.
Not 2 issues, too many.
It's basically the Batman family, more or less.
Yeah, which is why it's weird it's called Urban Legends and not
the Batman
something
family.
that lets you know it's not just Batman or even mainly Batman.
Yeah, like the stories in this one, Chip Zdarsky and Eddie Barrows are doing a Red Hood story. Matt Rosenberg.
I mean, already those 2 creators are like, oh, I want to read those.
Yeah, Matt Rosenberg and Ryan Benjamin are doing a Grifter story.
Ryan Benjamin, the guy who's drawn Grifter more than anybody ever.
New Harley Quinn writer Stephanie Phillips and Laura Braga are doing a Harley story, despite there being a Harley book later on this list. And then Brandon Thomas and Max Dunbar are doing an Outsider story. Some of this is because people, like these characters who would normally have books, don't have books in the new lineup. So, if you want to read Red Hood stuff, here's a Red Hood thing because he does not have a book in March. So that's a number 1 they've got coming out. The other big number 1 that I assume will sell amazingly well, even though it's a book that I could not want to read any less. The Joker number 1 by
ongoing Joker book
by James Tynion and Guillaume March with 1 billion variant covers. Written by James Tynion. There's also this is one of those books that's going to be 40 pages with a backup. The backup is the Punchline team doing a Punchline story in the Joker book. That'll be at least what the first backup is. It seems like a lot of the backup stories are going to rotate, so what you have for a couple issues might then change into something else entirely.
I wonder, and I'm getting way far ahead of the game,
Uh-huh.
what those collections are going to look like.
I assume the backup stories are going to get collected into their own thing.
But do you think they'll have enough?
Well, I think what they might do is probably just a one-shot that has them in there.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like,
'Cause that's how
Batman Urban Legends, and it's the Punchline story.
Yeah, that's
the Red Hood story or whatever.
Well, that's what they've done before, is when they've done like, oh, this was 60 pages doled out 6 pages at a time for 10 issues. Then they would just take those 60 pages and go, okay, now it's an $8 prestige format one-shot that we're going to not keep in print, but like, here you go if you want it 3 months after we finish publishing the other installments. Next on the list, Harley Quinn gets a new book again. Stephanie Phillips, Riley Rossmo. This had been announced before. Some of this stuff was not just announced in the catalog, it was announced in the preceding week. I don't know Stephanie Phillips from anything. They list her as rising star writer Stephanie Phillips, but like a lot of these creators, her debut is going to be in Future State that hasn't shipped yet, so that's great. I like Riley Rossmo a lot. I think he's a very fun artist. I will definitely look at the first issue. They're doing a lot of team variants for these books that spoiler challengers will not be carrying, because you have to order a minimum of 250 copies, and I don't feel like doing that for literally anything DC's listing in this March catalog. The cool thing on the Harley Quinn one, though, is that the team variant is the Yoshi Takamoto cover. That is Final Fantasy designer Yoshi Takamoto.
I like that cover.
It's really good.
The cute little bubble characters she's blowing.
That's Superman and Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty great. It's a beautiful cover. It's a great image. Good news is you can look at it for free online. My recommendation for anyone who feels like they need to get variant covers, you can just look at the image online. Crime Syndicate #1 is a 6-issue miniseries that has its first issue in March. Andy Schmidt, Kieran McEwen. It is the brand new Crime Syndicate of the brand new Earth 3, because Death Metal has a brand new multiverse coming out of it, according to this solicitation. So I hope you weren't planning on being surprised in Dark Knight's Death Metal #7, because DC's whole brand now is, by the way, the multiverse is back. One of my favorite things about big event series is how the follow-up stuff has to get promoted.
Yeah.
And it basically means some of the stuff we're going to have to ruin for you, because it's just what's happening. Suicide Squad, Robbie Thompson, Eduardo Pansica. The big thing on this one is that it looks like one of the new members is going to be the Connor Kent Superboy.
Okay.
It's also a lot of the characters in the movie, it looks like, because Peacemaker is front and center. They also fight the Court of Owls in the first one. Superman Red and Blue. The creators involved in the first issue are John Ridley, Wes Craig, Brandon Easton, Dan Waters, Marguerite Bennett, Clayton Henry, Wes Craig, Steve Lieber, Danny, and Jill Thompson.
All right.
A $6 6-issue miniseries. The Swamp Thing by Raum V and Mike Perkins is a 10-issue miniseries featuring a brand new The Swamp Thing.
As opposed to the Raum V and also Mike Perkins, Future State,
I guess.
Swamp Thing? So that's a different one?
I don't know if it's the same person who's going to be Swamp Thing in Future State.
Okay.
It probably might be, because it's the same creative team.
Well, you know, it's a mantle that's passed down from father to son.
It's true. Teen Titans Academy is a brand new book. That's the one written by Tim Sheridan. Art by Rafa Sandoval. It is something that kind of comes out of how the Teen Titans series was left when that ended, which is that basically the original Teen Titans and new Teen Titans are now going to be mentors to a new generation of heroes, including some of the younger members of the DC universe. A lot of them are brand new. The big thing that people who are Teen Titan cartoon fans are excited about is Red X, which was a villainous character from the Teen Titans cartoon that I don't believe had much of a thing in the comics. I think maybe has shown up, but is definitely a big character in the new book. If I'm not mistaken,
he's Speed's older brother with a helmet that has an X on it?
Yes, that's true. Yes.
Yeah.
A Red Racer X, yes. One of the things that was a little surprising to me is that a bunch of the books that are getting brand new creative teams and new directions that had series that were coming out in December are not being renumbered at all. Like the ones I just listed, like Teen Titans Academy, Harley Quinn, Joker, they didn't have a book in December.
Yeah, those are all brand new #1s.
Yeah, but like Superman, 29. That's just the next one. Philip Kennedy Johnson is taking over both Superman and Action. It looks like what's going to be happening between the two books is very much one story being told in 2-week increments. Both books, thankfully, are jumping to $5 with backups. Tales of Metropolis is, it looks like, what the backups are called. Yeah, nothing that's terribly exciting. The Philip Kennedy Johnson thing, I'll read them. I'm going to read all this stuff when it comes out. I want to give all these books a chance. I'm a fan of these characters and concepts, and I want to be won over. Unfortunately, some of these creative teams are ones where it's like, I hope you love the character because there's nothing else to get excited about. Like, even the solicitation stuff in here is just... following an almost deadly attack by an alien foe, the new Superman realizes that any threat could be the one. Neither Superboy nor Superman know what's behind this latest attack. 2 words, the wall. Okay?
3 words, Pink Floyd's The.
Yeah. So it's a lot of Jonathan Kent and Clark Kent stuff, and that's cool, but it's not a massive shift in direction, and Philip Kennedy Johnson does not have a sizable fan base that's going to absolutely check out Superman when it starts to come out. So it's like, this book could win people over. People could enjoy it, but I mean, there's a bunch of people who are going to check out when Bendis is done, which is this month. And I don't know if they're going to jump onto the next thing.
You, listener, can't see, but my hand is raised.
Patrick, you have a question?
No, I was saying...
Are you jumping off?
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Another book that is continuing its numbering, Batman, which will jump to $5 with backups. Keeping its creative team of James Tynion IV and George Jimenez.
Yeah, but they're losing one of their fill-ins. One of their rotating artists.
They are losing Guillaume March.
Yeah, Guillaume March is
I guess they'll have to find somebody else to fill in. The good news is Batman is, like all of these books, shifting to once a month, so they may not read that. They might not need that many fill-in people if they're publishing half as many comics. Yeah, Batman, and I don't know about Detective, but Batman was one of the few still shipping twice monthly books, and that is not the case anymore. Yeah, the backup in Batman is Damian Wayne, who is not Robin anymore. He doesn't have a Robin costume.
Okay.
Detective, book I'm probably most excited about for Infinite Frontier. It's Marco Tamaki and Dan Mora, who did a really great backup in Detective 1027 that I really liked, and so I'm glad that they're getting a chance to do a longer form story. That is bumping to $5 with the backup. The backup in this one, also Damian Wayne. So some of this stuff, it looks like the backups are going to go between books, which is maybe something that I don't love as a concept, because, I mean, if these things are $5, there's a lot of people who read Batman that do not read Detective. I would say maybe half as many people read Detective as read Batman. So I don't know that all of those, the half of the Batman readers who don't read Detective are going to be like, I am going to pay $5 to see how this Robin story concludes. I don't think it's as big a deal for the Superman books, because I think, especially if it's the same writer doing both books, we were seeing people, everyone who's reading Bendis' Superman were reading his action. You know what I mean? There weren't many people doing just the one Superman book. But this, I don't love that. Batman Superman by Gene Yang and Ivan Reis, which is an amazingly good creative team for a book that looks like it is going to be mostly multiverse stuff.
Some little Lex Luthor is what it sounds like to me.
I guess. I mean, the first one is a very, like, golden agey team. Catwoman, Ram V, Fernando Blanco, which I'm pretty sure is the exact same creative team doing the book right now.
Yeah.
Variant covers by Jenny Frison, who is a huge Catwoman fan.
And doing some great covers.
And one of those things is true. Flash, number 768. Jeremy Adams and Brandon Peterson. Jeremy Adams, someone who they don't even list what his credits are in here, so I hope it's something good. Doesn't sound very interesting at all. It's a lot more Wally West, so that's a thing.
I can tell you what he's done.
What's he done, Patrick?
A lot of Flash-centric animated movie stuff.
Yeah, he did like a Justice League action episode. Yeah. And that's the thing. A bunch of these brand new creators to DC are LA TV writers, because DC's an LA company now. It has been for a while, so that's what you get. Justice League also does not renumber. Brand new creative team, brand new lineup. Brian Michael Bendis, David Marquez. The lineup includes Batman, Superman, Hippolyta, Naomi, Black Adam, Aquaman, Green Arrow, Black Canary, and Hawkgirl.
Is Green Arrow the leader?
They've mentioned that in other places, but here it says Superman is leading the charge to reinvent the Justice League.
Okay.
So
because in previous solicitations of other books it said, so-and-so encounters a Green Arrow-led Justice League.
Yeah, so
it didn't lead me... I didn't know if that was a iteration from Future State or some different dimension or different multiversity or whatever.
I suppose we'll find out in March. Justice League moves to $5 with a backup. The backup in this case, Justice League Dark, which is not a comic book anymore. It is a backup in a Justice League comic book. The creative team for that one is the people who are doing Justice League Dark. So if you like Justice League Dark, I keep reading Justice League, I guess. Nightwing, Tom Taylor, Bruno Redondo, the team behind Suicide Squad.
I'm most excited for. I really enjoyed their Suicide Squad.
I would agree with you that it is a very exciting book. The preview pages that were shown look fantastic. Yeah, it's the most excited I've been for Nightwing in a long, long time. Wonder Woman.
I will be putting Nightwing and Justice League on my subscription list.
Ooh. Wonder Woman, Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad are the writers. Travis Moore is the artist. Another $5 book with a backup. In this case, the backup is Young Adventures, at least to start with, of Diana, before she was Wonder Woman, by Jordi Belair and Paulina Ganesha.
Okay.
Ganeshu? I don't know. Yeah, a little weird that we're not seeing Yara Flor.
Yet.
I mean, you'd think you'd want to lead with that. That seems like a huge thing that Future State was doing. And this, I mean, she's not even mentioned in the Wonder Woman solicit at all. She's shown on the cover. One of the things they're doing a lot of in this is not every book's variant is going to be a cardstock variant or a Virgin variant. What they're doing is wraparound variants.
Okay.
So the wraparound variant for this is a Travis Moore wraparound variant that has like the entire cast for the last year and then into the future of Wonder Woman. And they are the same price as the regular cover. So unlike the cardstocks that need to be $1 more for the format, these are the same price as the regular one, which I assume a lot of people are probably going to want. Sensational Wonder Woman, we already mentioned. It is a $4 anthology series. First one's Stephanie Phillips and Megan Hetrick. People are really excited about Megan Hetrick variants, so maybe we'll get some people who want to see more of her interior art. The graphic novels for the month. Ryan North and Derek Charm, the team behind Jughead, are doing a young John Constantine adventure, The Mystery of the Meanest Teacher, a Johnny Constantine graphic novel. He is a 13-year-old magician. Persuading his parents to send him to America, John arrives at the Junior Success Boarding School in Salem, Massachusetts, but once there, he finds himself to be something of an outcast, and he is convinced that his homeroom teacher really has it in for him. Worse, he's sure she's really a witch. Fortunately, John is able to find one kindred spirit at school with whom he's able to form an alliance. Patrick, any guesses?
Oh, gosh. No.
Another misfit named Anna, who also happens to have her own developing magical powers.
What?
Joined by a friendly demon named Etrigan, these two amateur sleuths will uncover clues and stumble upon forces beyond their control in a humorous series of misadventures. Patrick, a humorous series of misadventures, a Johnny Constantine graphic novel. Are you excited at all about Ryan North and Derek Charm's younger readers? Why they didn't just call it Heckblazer is beyond me.
No, I mean, that's pretty
They just left it hanging right there.
Yeah.
Bonkers.
Yeah. I just feel like it's Jughead, but, just with a British accent.
But, like, John Constantine as a younger reader's graphic novel. Like, this isn't, like, Ink. This is Zoom, man.
Yeah.
Catwoman Soul Stealer graphic novel based on a young adult novel. Raven's getting a hardcover.
Okay.
All of the Black Label stuff is just continuing stuff from before. Do not expect to see any new Black Label stuff probably anytime soon. Yeah, everything in here is just bat and clean up. Patrick, expectations for March? Are you setting aside future state? Do you feel like you're going to be ordering like more confidently than you were in like the last few months?
Well, I think I'll be ordering confidently that no one's going to buy them.
So that's what I mean. Do you think the sales potential for these books is greater than we've been seeing lately?
No.
Oof.
Do you?
I mean, I think it's a little bit more complicated than an outright no.
Yeah. I mean, I just thought I would cut to the chase.
That's cool.
I know a lot of people that have been saying anthologies have been missing from the industry and it's a great bargain and people love them.
How's Batman Black and White selling?
I also know that statistically, anthologies do not do well for challengers.
No.
And I know that it's not...
killed on Batman Black and White.
We did. And that was a great cautionary tale for Superman Red Blue.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah.
When I first heard that, I'm like,
and Sensational
man,
Wonder Woman.
Are they doing... Yeah.
Oof.
Those, they just don't work for us.
Batman Urban Legends, yeah, all those, man. Whatever number I ordered for Batman Black and White, or you ordered, cut it to a third.
Yeah. And I know that, Batman is not an anthology, it just has a backup.
Yeah.
But it's still...
Here's the problem with backups, because this is not the first time DC's done backups in their ongoing series. The thing is, they don't do anything.
No.
They had to get rid of them almost immediately, because the problem is, most people do not want to read a backup more than they want to read the lead story. So the backup is always just like some extra thing at the end. And it's also making the book cost $1 more. And some people who are like Batman will sell fine. You could probably make Batman $8 a month and people would still buy it. If anything, it's what you're paying right now.
You should, because we're not that's gonna affect our bottom line.
Yeah. Selling half as many Batmans in a month. Yeah, it's not great. But a lot of these other books are way more on the bubble and way more subject to people looking at that extra dollar and going, no, I don't want to pay $5 to read a book I'm not that excited about. Thankfully, they're not doing the backups across the line, but they're doing a lot of them.
A lot of them.
And it feels... The problem I have with the backups is, and it's the same thing as years ago, it always feels like they work backwards from, we want to raise the price. Okay, well, we can't just raise the price if our main competitor, who is kicking their ass in the direct market, is charging less money for the same page count. So if you want to charge $1 more, you have to increase the page count. Okay, well, the creative teams can't do more pages a month. Okay, well, we're going to have to put 8-page backups in. So it's like a solution in search of a problem. Like, they just wanted more money and they had to figure out some way to justify it. I don't think they're great. No matter how good the creative teams do on them, like, if they're good, it's a nice little bonus, but most of the time it's like, I wish I didn't have to pay an extra $1 for that. I wish I could have just paid $4 and gotten the story I wanted, instead of $5 for a story I wanted and one that you gave me as well. Like, it's not a bonus. You are making me pay for it, and I have no other option.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, historically, the backups are not going to do a great job of mitigating the price increase, and they're certainly not going to get people to grab a book that they were not already going to get. The hope is just that you don't lose more people than you're gaining the money from who are buying it anyway. Do you know what I mean? The construction of that sentence was weird, but like, you are making an extra $1 on the people who are staying. You just need enough of them to stay that you're not losing money now on the series.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because a bunch of them are going to quit. A bunch of them are going to not care about the new creative team and not want to sample it for $5.
Yeah, like, I'll be adding Detective. I used to when it was James Tynan, and then I tried again with Peter Tomasi.
Yeah.
But I'll bring it back for Marco Tamaki. And like I said, Justice League, and if Joel is ever writing the Yara Flower Wonder Woman, I'll add that.
Yeah, not anytime soon.
But I'm done with Flash. I'm done with Green Lantern. Nothing for Aquaman.
Yeah, there's some other stuff they didn't announce yet.
Like, if you want to put Aquaman in a backup of a Green Lantern book or something, fine.
I mean, didn't they announce a Green Lantern thing they were doing at one of these conventions recently, or one of these digital press events? Because I assume they'd be waiting for, like, I would guess April is going to see a few more books added.
Wait, when you say Green Lantern, do you mean...
Well, because, like, they have Green Lantern Season 2 wrapping up, but they don't have a new Infinite Frontier Green Lantern book.
Oh, they do? I guess it just wasn't...
And that's the thing, it's not in this catalog. It's like a Jon Stewart thing.
Yeah, Jeffrey Thorne, Gregory Thorne.
Yeah, that's right, because he's one of the creators listed for Infinite Frontier.
Yeah.
So yeah, I assume there'll be another couple 3 launched in March, another couple 3 in April.
He also doesn't like Hal Jordan, so it's like, oh, I guess there's just no Hal Jordan book for a while.
People have been wanting Jon Stewart stuff.
That's fine. Like, you know what? If you want to give me a Green Lantern book and have it be a rotating lead story... You know, like, oh, we're going to do a 6-issue arc of Jon Stewart.
Sure.
And then a 6-issue Kyle Rayner.
Sure.
And then the backups can be just the Green Lantern Corps.
Right.
That makes sense. Or
Tales
give me a Flash book where it's, you know, the same thing. You get a 6-issue Barry Allen story, and then Wally's in the backup.
Sure.
And then you get a 6-issue Wally book, and Bart's in the backup, or Max, or somebody else.
No, that'd be a good way to
handle
handle
it.
Like,
the families
sure.
make sense to me.
Yeah, just in general, the backups thing is I think the biggest miscalculation of this, because they have literally done exactly this, raised the price by $1, add a backup, and people were not into it.
No.
The market did not like it. And I don't
But see, all the people that made those decisions are gone, Dal, so this is new decisions from new people who are smarter.
They are, and that's pretty classic 2020 DC is like, oh, you're honest to God making the exact same mistakes you used to.
Yeah.
And expecting a different result and whatever. I mean, markets change and who knows, maybe they've got some read on it where they feel like it's a winning calculation, but to me it just feels like a huge misfire. Yeah, I don't know that people are going to en masse like drop DC books because they went up by $1. I don't think a lot of people make that sort of decision. But there are people who are going to be a little bit more budget conscious. If you're getting 7 or 8 DC books and your budget's a little tight, it's going to be like, well, maybe I get 4 or 5 now, which is going to hurt a lot of the lower tier books because, again, no one's dropping Batman.
Right.
But I think you're going to have a lot tougher time getting people to sample books that they might have sampled a year ago. Like, I think you're going to have people who are going to look at, you know, Harley Quinn that has not sold traditionally great, or The Swamp Thing, or, you know, just a new Superman book that they don't know the creative team for, and go, not for $5 every month. Yeah, I like a lot of the creative teams. I will definitely check out a bunch of these books, and if any of these books work, I'd gladly promote them.
Oh, 100%. I mean...
But yeah, it doesn't
I love to be
great.
proven wrong about comic books.
Yeah, it pretty...
I don't want my jaded old man lifer attitudes to always be right.
Sure.
I want to be surprised.
Sure. Reading the DC March 2021 solicits, honest to God, is just like DC as a company in a microcosm in one batch of listings, because it's like, oh, there's good comics in here. If DC would get out of its own way. Like, if they wouldn't make so many dumb structural and institutional decisions, you have a good lineup. Just stop making it so difficult for people to read them.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not looking forward to it. It just makes me disappointed. But I'm always disappointed about things like that now.
Not just things like
food.
that. Every meal you've had for the last 3 years.
True story.
Wish it had been better.
Dal, just before this, asked me, are you sure you don't have COVID? You don't like anything you eat anymore. Maybe you don't have your sense of taste.
Only slightly joking about that.
Just barely. Just barely.
Have you had COVID for the last 3 years?
So we'll stop there.
Because this is a very long podcast already.
Yep. Mr. We'll knock it out in 40 minutes.
I'm hungry. I want to eat dinner.
There's a big thing we didn't talk about. We'll save it till next week.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll also, I don't know about next week's schedule because our recording nights are usually Fridays. Next Friday is Christmas.
It is Christmas.
There was one Christmas recording a couple years back where we exchanged gifts and recorded it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And literally, as I got home, Matt and Molly, who are two British DJs, go figure, they were exchanging their presents this morning, but it would have been at 3 o'clock our time.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, Matt's been talking up his present for Molly for weeks, and I was very interested, and he's like, it's the best present you're ever going to get. And ridiculing her for her inability to give him presents as good. So I'm like, you know what? I'm genuinely interested in this.
Yeah.
But there's no way I was waking up for it.
No.
But thanks to the BBC Sounds app, I was able to listen to it in the car on the way home.
Did you feel like he delivered, or was he overhyping it?
I feel like he delivered.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah. He. Long story short, she hosts a show all about up and coming musicians, and there's one, and you're going to want to make a joke about this.
I'll bite my tongue.
Named Griff. I paused so you could do it.
I literally bit my tongue.
Who Molly is in love with and thinks that she's an upcoming amazing singer. So Matt wrote a song about Molly and had Griff record it.
Oh, nice.
And half of it's sincere, and half of it is just the most over-the-top, like, oh, she's fired 15 assistants this year alone kind of stuff. Really, really well done.
That's great.
Yeah. And I thought I'd put that on me and said, what if Dal had Anne Boleyn record a song specifically about me?
I definitely did not.
No. It wasn't like, what if you did that? I mean, how would I feel about that?
How would you feel about that?
Robert Burns gave me, one of my 40th birthday, wrote a song called Patrick Brower's 40 Now that detailed a lot of our personal history, and it's a fun song.
Yeah.
But now just a day to go, and 16 doesn't seem so long ago. I guess it doesn't matter now, because Patrick Brower, you're 40 now. Patrick Brower, you're 14 now. Patrick Brower, you're 40 now. It's now.
And he also wrote a song about an ex-girlfriend of mine once. I'll go where the spirit moves me.
Oh, yeah.
I'll go where the spirit moves me. I'll go where the spirit moves me.
So, I mean, I've had that experience before. Both great songs.
Yes.
One of them much lighter in tone.
Sure.
But yeah, like it'd be it's a weird thing, and I've given songs, homemade, written and recorded songs as gifts before too. So the best present she'll ever get, I don't know, a really good present though. But anyway, my point is I don't think we'll be able to do a Christmas present unveiling podcast because it sounds like a lot of our presents won't be here.
Yeah, and also, I mean, I think you'll like what you get from me, but I don't know if anything in there is that, like, oh my god, you will never believe what I tracked down. Like, this was not the year for that. This was the year of, like, I spent a bunch of money on something that you'll like, but is not like, it's not, I don't want to say it's not exciting, because I think you'll like it. It's just so much as it's like, yeah, it is not, there's not a huge story behind it.
Sure.
There is no story behind it.
I have big stories behind mine, but I shit the bed on you this year.
I think there's some fun stuff I got for you that I think you've reached a point that you're ready for. Is how I'll cryptically describe them. It's stuff that I think a few years ago, if I would have given them to you, you're like, I don't know what to do with this. But now I think you're at a point where you would actually make use of them.
Crutches?
Yeah. A new hip.
I will give a shout out to Gina Challenger, who gave me a pretty great gift already this year, and I've gotten gifts. Mm-hmm. I think you've been kicking one all night.
This one?
Yeah.
I tried not to kick it.
Steve Davidge gave me a great Captain America Samurai. What is it series? The Bandai series?
Yeah, it's the Tamashii Nations, I think, no, or just SH Figuarts.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's the SH Figuarts Samurai Realization.
Yeah,
figures.
Real fun figure.
Yeah, they do a whole line of them. They've done different like Marvel and Star Wars ones, I think, where it's basically classic characters from those franchises done up as like medieval samurais.
Yeah, real fun.
They started with the Star Wars ones and then they transitioned into the Marvel ones because the Star Wars ones were gigantic hits. Like they've had to do the Stormtrooper and Boba Fett ones multiple times to meet demand. And
Gina Challenger got me a print of like an Etsy artist who did a portrait of Joe Wilkinson, who everybody knows from 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown, but specifically from his season of Taskmaster. And he's saying that arches give structure.
There's strength there now. There's strength there. How do we use that? There's strength in arches. There is strength in arches.
I got the quote wrong, but that's the gist of it.
Well, at least you have an illustration of it now to remind you what the quote is.
And it has
daily.
A potato on it, and the potato is for the best reason in the world.
Uh-huh.
And I loved it, so it's great. So
yeah, I think that's the best gift you're going to get this
Fire
Christmas.
said hi, Dal.
Let me tell you right now, I don't think I'm going to clear it. Let me warn you in advance. Once again, I think you'll like the gifts, but it's nothing that's going to be like, oh my god, I could have never predicted this. This is changing my life.
But don't you think
in the same way that a Taskmaster print does?
Changes my life, yes.
Yes.
Don't you think customers want to be able to hear the, oh, wow, thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Thank
gracious.
You. You know what? You put a lot of thought in. This is a thoughtful gift.
The thing that this is.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Who knows? Happy holidays, everybody. Thanks for listening.
And keep reading Christmas
I
comics.
said everybody, but I just meant you. You who are listening, just
what if
you.
Someone's listening to this on their speaker in a public place, socially distanced with masks on?
No. This is the happy holiday is for the only person
who downloaded it
who
their
hears
device.
this. No, the person who hears this.
Oh, okay.
If you're in a group of people and you're all listening, only you're hearing this.
That's true.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.
Did you do your bit? Did we talk over it?
I did, but you talked over it, but I think it's still like audible.
Okay.
I don't say it more than once. You don't pay me for that.
I'm not asking you to.
Okay.